Right, welcome back to the channel. And today we're with Reece. We're going to talk through how he went from basically being a fitness instructor, doing classes, to turning over $250,000 a year before the age of 24, which is insane. And if I earned that amount of money at 24, I would definitely be dead. Not lying. Reece, thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
So, talk us through your journey. Where did you start? What was the first job and why?
Yeah, so, the first job was fitness instructor. That's a nice way I like to call it. I was mainly a glorified cleaner, to be fair. So I started as a gym apprentice. So I couldn't afford my PT qualification. So I'd work in the gym. I'd take the odd class, but then I'd also clean the toilets, clean the cross trainers and stuff. And that's where I started. So it was like £3.50 an hour. So we just kind of like grinding away. And I always thought, right, the goal is for me to become a personal trainer, because rewinding right back, I was wanted to be a footballer. So my whole like goal in life was I want to be a pro footballer. That's all I want. So then when that didn't quite work out, wasn't good enough, I then decided to become a PT, because that was my secondary passion. So then when I went through the apprenticeship and then became a qualified personal trainer from there.
So what was the steps online then? Because obviously you work solely online now.
Yeah.
How did you go from being a PT to being an online coach?
I hit a ceiling with PT. So I love PT as well. I really enjoyed it, but it got to a point for me where I would do so much PT on the gym floor, but then I came to realization there's only so many hours in a day. So there's only so many people I can work with. There's only so much fucking energy I have. So I found myself getting to the end of the week feeling burnt out. Like my missus fucking hated me all the time because I was just a moody fuck, because I was just consistently on that gym floor hour after hour, back to back to back. And I realized, right, I've hit this ceiling. I can't take on any more clients. I can't help the clients I've got because I'm just constantly go. Like clients will message me on WhatsApp and it'd be like 3-4 days later, I might reply to them. And I just hit that ceiling with PT. So that's when I thought, when COVID hit, I have to go online. Because for me, I've got no time to do it at the moment. Like I can't do it now. Like I didn't realize how easy it was to transition online. So when COVID hit, I thought, right, this is a great opportunity. I can start to find my way around online. And I thought, right, I need to get rid of the ceiling, go online and start to scale.
How busy were you as an in-person PT? When you say you had a ceiling, like describe the ceiling.
It was I usually try to have Saturdays off because Saturday was game day for me for football.
So you didn't have Saturdays off?
No, I didn't know. I did for a couple of months, but then it got too busy. So I'd end up working Saturday morning as well. But it was Monday to Friday, and Sunday was minimum 6 hours on Sunday, but usually throughout the week, probably say about 10 hours. And then in between, like if you do get like a cancellation or something, you got an hour there. So you think, right, brilliant. I can try and reply to some WhatsApp, so I can try and do this, or I can try and put like maybe a post out on social media. So it was literally about, you're at the gym 5:30, ready for your 6 o'clock client. Then you'll probably do then until about 2. And then you might train 2 till 4. And then you're there 4 till 10 p.m. And then you're going home, sleeping, and back up at 5:30 to the gym.
Sounds rough. What were you making as a in-person personal trainer at that point?
I mean, it wasn't awful, but I had no structure. So we wasn't charging too heavy. So we would charge about £30 an hour. So I mean, it was probably sitting around 3.5, 4, I think, from personal training a month, roughly, but with zero freedom.
Yeah. I mean, that's not bad. How old were you then?
That was probably when I started my apprenticeship around 16, so about 19. I think
it's a lot of money for a 19-year-old.
Oh yeah, I fucking didn't see it at all because I was constantly working it, but it felt amazing. Yeah, it felt really good, but yeah, I had no discipline with it. I didn't really know what to do with it.
So then obviously, other than COVID, like why did then you stick to online coaching?
Because, there's 2 reasons. A, the scalability of online coaching. I've always kind of had a bit of an edge about me that I liked the business world as well. And I understood that from an online perspective, I can do that better. But for me, a big part of it as well was, obviously we're in a game of personal training and instructing to help people. And through personal training, I wasn't getting the results that I knew I needed to take the business where I wanted to go. Because I think number 1 rule of being an online coach, to scale a good business, you need to be a great fucking coach. So I found PT, I couldn't give people what they needed outside of their gym as well, outside of the gym workouts as well. So I wanted to go online to be able to support them even more. So then when I went online, the results that I got with my team members were ridiculous in comparison to PT. So COVID hit, then obviously that's when I had the time to do it. And then another big, there was a ceiling, but another big kind of motivator was I'll be able to help people more than I was in PT.
What was the biggest difference you think why you got better results with your online program than you did in person?
I think I leveraged my time a lot better. So when I was in PT, it was just kind of like, right, I'm so tired, get through this hour, get it done. Right, next hour, get it done. And when I became online, I realized there's so many more systems that I can now implement. Now, doing PT, it was just, right, try these macros, try these calories, and that should be okay. If you go to the gym, do this training split. But it wasn't, right, this is how you work your nutrition around a crazy lifestyle. This is how you go to the gym if you've only got 35 minutes before work. Like, I didn't be able to delve into all these extra things. So for me, the results got so much better when I went online because I can delve into everything about a person's day as opposed to just their workout.
You think that's because you had more time as well because you weren't as pressed doing like back-to-back sessions all the time?
But also as well, like I was able to invest so much more time into my knowledge as well. As a PT, my knowledge was capped because I didn't have no time to do anything. Any spare hour I got, it was, I just want to breathe. I just want to relax for an hour. So going online where I had a bit more time on my hands, I can then invest back into education and learning and understanding. So when I got smarter, if you will, through fitness, I was able to then implement that onto the team as well.
So then what kind of results have you had from your online program now then, like personally, like how has the growth been over the last sort of 12 months?
So from a client perspective or business perspective?
Business.
Oh, wow. Scaled pretty quick. So when I was just in and around COVID online, obviously we went from what was then online like about 3.5, 4 to nothing because we had no online element to the business. So it literally went from like, it's doing all right to absolutely fucking nothing. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, how am I going to make this work? So for like quick cash, I had to like scramble up a bit together. I mean, I was charging 75 quid a month online when COVID hit. So I was like, for me, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm not even seeing them and I'm charging 75 quid an hour. What the fuck's going on here? I thought I hacked the system. I felt like fucking the best businessman in the world. So I started doing that. And then the first year in and around COVID or first 3 quarters of the year was slower in hindsight. For me, it seemed great because I'm from home and I'm earning money. What's going on there? But then after that, it's kind of in around the time I started working with you. It scaled up very quick when I started to learn and understand more about things like high ticket and how to market properly. And then from there, we kind of went from, we done about 6 figures the year where I was 22. And then obviously turning into 23, we done about 250,000 for the year just gone.
Pretty good. What was now it's not just you, right? So like you did about 6 figures on your own.
Yeah. By
and
myself,
then this transition into like, doing 250,000 as you building a team.
Yeah, so we've got a team of us now.
What does your work week look like now?
To be fair, it's a lot of the time when I would speak to people, it's like, you must be so busy. But I think the systems we've got in place, the business almost runs itself now. Like I do the extras because I want to go the extra mile for the members I've got, but we could quite easily maintain the business on 5-6 hours a week. We could easily maintain it if we wanted to. Anything else is just extras to push things forward. So a typical work week for me is just generally, our systems are in a good place, our automations are in a good place. So it is, I mean, for me, the transition I'm trying to make now is kind of becoming more of a business owner as opposed to just a coach. So my work week now is a lot more towards how can I help my team, but also the people that are working within the program. So as staff, if you will. So coaching them, helping them and kind of overseeing their bits as well. So it is literally just marketing's all done in batch at one time, and Plamin, the guy who helps me with my content, he covers it all really, really well. So, I mean, it is just about trying to be creative, and I spend a lot of my time thinking now. Like before it was always doing things, but now I've got time where I call it white space time where I can just think and get creative. So a lot of my time now is spent thinking, getting creative and finding ways to move the business forward as opposed to, so kind of working on the business as opposed to in the business is a lot of my time spent now.
Really good insight. Thank you very much. So what would you say then? This is a little bit different to what we usually ask. We usually ask, what would you say to new online coaches? What would you say to online coaches who are getting to the end of how much they can do on their own? What would the big tips be of actually taking that next step and
delegate
and building a business?
Delegate straight away. I mean, for me, I feel like the best way you can delegate is when you kind of master it yourself. So I think if there's a coach that's got to that point, you think, do you know what, I'm doing all these things, I'm great at it. I would always kind of think to myself, what are things that I can delegate that doesn't need me? So for instance, it's tough to delegate content. It's your face. You can't delegate your content, but it might be that you're spending, let's say, 2 hours to edit each fucking post that you're doing with all the cool captions and all that kind of stuff, right? Maybe that could be one thing you can delegate first. Or it might be that you're overwhelmed the amount of clientele that you're bringing on. You've, restructured, you're now doing high ticket and you're still overwhelmed, right? Maybe I can delegate some coaching. I can bring a coach on board. These kind of things, I would say as a coach that's so busy right now, has to start delegating the things that he's ready to get, like, in a DM messaging, if you're spending 5 hours a day replying to messages, delegate. So then you can become a business owner again and start to think and get creative, move the business forward. So for me, my biggest advice to a coach is reach that tether of time, is to start delegating so you can spend your time in the biggest money making and maintenance tasks, as opposed to just trying to tick the boxes on your to-do list, because that to-do list is never going to fucking end. I'm sure there's every coach listening to this right now has got a to-do list, right? When I get through these couple tasks, then I can start to do this. But then more tasks and more tasks and more tasks. That to-do list will never end. So I think for me, it would be delegating.
Cool. So that's an insight into quite a large business and the differences that you've got to make between being a coach just on your own, and pretty much a full journey from doing legs, bums and tums and washing toilets all the way up
Monday
into
afternoon
being...
classes.
Oh, mate, I used to love the legs, bums and tums.
LBT.
So we're not going to teach you about legs, bums and tums, but we are going to teach you exactly what you need to start building a business like Reece's, so you can do all the fun stuff afterwards yourself. So make sure that you subscribe underneath. I'm pretty sure it's underneath. And then the bell on top tells you when we're doing new videos, which are also worth pressing.